So, if you've ever tried to sell a home or even just spent time scrolling through listings, you know the feeling. You're not just selling a building, you're trying to sell a dream, a future, a home. But how on earth do you do that when all a potential buyer sees online is just an empty, boring room? Okay, let's get into it.
Right? That's really the big question here. How do you actually sell the feeling of home when you're just looking at a picture on a screen? An empty room is, well, it's just a box with floors and walls. It makes it so hard for someone to imagine their life happening there, to get that little spark that makes them go, wow, I can see myself living here. And that's the core of the problem. Empty rooms just don't inspire anyone. In fact, a lot of the time, they actually make a space feel smaller and, a little colder than it really is. And think about it. Buyers are scrolling through hundreds of photos. An empty room just doesn't stop them in their tracks. It doesn't help them make that crucial emotional connection.
But what if you could fill that space? Not with thousands of dollars of rental furniture and a whole moving crew, but with pixels. Well, this is exactly where a really powerful and clever tool comes into play: virtual staging.
So, what are we talking about exactly? It's pretty simple, really. It's the art of using digital tools to add beautiful, stylish furniture, cool decor, and even pops of color into the photos of an empty house. It instantly makes your listing photos way more useful and personal, and it helps buyers truly understand the size, the layout, and the amazing potential of the space. And the process itself? Super straightforward. First, you just take some really high-quality photos of the empty rooms. Then, a designer works their magic, digitally adding furniture and decor that totally fits the style of the home. And then, you publish these incredible photos that are pretty much guaranteed to stop someone from scrolling and get them to click. Okay, so we get what it is, but why is it such a massive game changer for people trying to sell their homes? Let's break down the digital advantage, because this is about way more than just making a room look nice. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the perks are huge. First off, let's talk money. Virtual staging can be up to 90, even 95% cheaper than bringing in actual furniture. I mean, we're talking a few $100s versus thousands. The turnaround time? It's lightning fast, often just a day or two. And the creative possibilities are endless. You want a modern look? Done. A cozy farmhouse vibe? You got it. All with just a few clicks. Plus, it really helps buyers understand the true scale of a room, and it makes all your other marketing stuff, like social media posts and virtual tours, so much more engaging. In fact, study after study shows that staged homes, virtual or not, just sell faster and for more money. It's a no-brainer. This quote just nails it. In today's crowded online world, your photos are your front line. They have to be more than just pictures. They have to be scroll-stopping assets that grab a buyer's attention and make them pause and start dreaming about living there. Okay, but let's be real for a second. While virtual staging is an amazing tool, it's not a magic wand for every single situation. I mean, for one thing, it has to be done well. Bad, fake-looking virtual staging can honestly be worse than just showing the empty room. And there's a really fine line between showing a room's potential and, being misleading. It has to look realistic. And sometimes you just can't beat the real thing. So it really comes down to knowing which tool to use and when. For that all-important first impression online, virtual staging is the absolute champion. But for the in-person tour, especially if a house has a weird or confusing layout, having actual furniture in the space can be a huge help for buyers to really feel the flow and understand how it all works. All right, all this theory is great, but let's see how it actually plays out in the real world. We're going to take a quick look at a success story from Taunton, Massachusetts, and see this digital decor in action. So here was the situation. You've got this perfectly nice condo, but because it was totally empty, it just felt cramped. The online photos just weren't doing it any justice, and buyers were having a hard time seeing how much space there really was. So what was the fix? Well, instead of just leaving it empty, the agent used virtual staging to add some clean, modern furniture that was a perfect fit for the local style, what the source called the South Coast vibe. All of a sudden, the photos looked brighter, way more professional, and a whole lot more inviting. And the result? It honestly speaks for itself. As soon as those new virtually staged photos went live, the condo went under agreement in just a matter of days. And why? Because for the first time, buyers could actually see the potential. They could finally understand the space and start imagining their own stuff in there. They made that emotional connection. So, as we start to wrap this up, it's really important to look at the bigger picture here. This whole technique is about so much more than just making a room look pretty with some digital furniture. And this right here is the main takeaway. Virtual staging isn't just about decoration. It is a powerful, strategic marketing tool. It improves your photos, it makes your videos better, it makes your virtual tours more immersive. It basically elevates your entire online presence and gives your listing the serious competitive edge it needs to stand out. Which really leaves us with one final thing to think about. In a world that is so focused on that first digital glance, that split-second choice to either click for more or just keep on scrolling, you kind of have to ask yourself, is the most powerful home decor the kind that actually gets a home sold, now made of pixels?